Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the lands of Aecathan. No professionals, no fancy tech, just a group of women playing an all-original game of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Jeff, your game master, and I finally figured out why draconic bards always beat every other race in competition. It's because they've mastered their scales.
All right, I like it. I'll give you that one.
We'll accept that.
Thanks.
Yes, that one is
Because
acceptable.
it's good, or the last several have been so bad that it
Right.
Ooh.
So we may be somewhat inoculated against the really bad ones.
but
Could
it was
be.
not a really bad one. It was an okay
No,
one.
it was decent.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm not sure
All
if that succeeded or failed, though.
Either way, I'll take it.
Okay.
So, let me bring you up to speed on what happened the last time. The group decided to invite Mother Tasha, who is the Speaker of Dragons, the ancient gold dragon in charge of all 5 of the draconic septs of metallic dragons, to dinner at Gwen's new estate. She arrived, they had a nice meal, talked over several things, including some of the changes that Zorith is going through at the moment. They got a little bit more information on the Thwilnu and discussed briefly the upcoming Dragon Festival. And then after dinner, Gwen decided to go blow off some steam. Unfortunately, wandering through the dock ward, she forgot that it was Aermagh and not Thunder's Edge, and actually couldn't find a fight to pick. Ended up coming home a little upset because
Just disappointed.
she couldn't find anything to beat up. But Tasha was kind enough to cast her magnificent mansion and allow Gwen to go in and take her frustrations out on the various dummies in the training room in the mansion. The following morning, we started sort of a telescoped version of the 8 days prior to the Dragon Festival. We started with Gwen going to Arabelle's parents' house to work with Lady Leena, Arabelle's mother, and Lady Leena was able to give her some of the basics, which she didn't pick up quite as well as the lady had hoped she would. There were also some wardrobe suggestions and a discussion of the calendar for the nobility, things that are regular times and places when the nobles tend to show up for various reasons. Lady Leena also told Gwen that she had arranged for her to study with Neven Pervir, who is the advanced etiquette instructor for all of the nobility in Aermagh, and also told her that she had arranged for her to work with Dwafik Windbelt, who is the preeminent dance instructor, the bard who specializes in dance and has created the bulk of the dances that the nobility tend to perform at their various social functions. Aribell had a chat with Viessa, which came as quite a surprise to Viessa, because Aribell actually just went to inquire on her state of health, both physical, mental, and emotional. And Viessa was a little taken aback, and then even more taken aback when she came to realize that she and a paladin were becoming friends. So she made it known that she would not like this information to be public, but that she acknowledged that against all logic it was happening. And the two of them actually had probably the fairest, nicest conversation the two of you have ever had up to this point, I would say. And then Zorith finally got a chance to go down to Thunder's Edge and spend an evening with Aloric.
Yep.
And Aloric took her to a restaurant that was not quite open yet.
Yeah.
A restaurant to be called the Lavender Heart once it was opened. But it turns out it is owned and operated by Kara Twofoot, who is Hugh's niece. But really, for all intents and purposes, both Hugh and Sar's niece. Because she thinks of Sar as her uncle as well. And so Aloric was able to work out a very nice evening, just the two of them, in this restaurant that was almost finished and ready to open. Kara's food was exceptional, and the evening was spent just chatting, and the two of them finally getting a chance to get to know one another a little better. Zorith found out about Aloric's background and how he came to be a rogue, how he used those skills, and then how he came to be the owner of the Ivory's Wrath. And after a nice evening, followed by a nice walk around Thunder's Edge, the two said goodnight, and Zorith returned to Aermagh. And that's where we pick up. We'll start with just a little thing. Zorith, after your evening with Aloric, you went to sleep. You wake up the next morning and awake with a start because you can't see. It's like somebody's put something over your head. And as you sit up, whatever's over your face parts, and you feel this odd weight on your back.
Uh-oh.
And you look, and there are two gold dragon wings sticking out of your back.
Oh no. Big flappy wings.
Yeah.
I like feel it all the way up and feel it all the way down,
And not only can you feel it with your fingers, but you can feel it through the wings. You can feel your fingers on the wings.
oh my gosh. And okay. It's all bunched up in the back, I'm assuming. My shirt's all bunched up in the back.
It's ripped.
It's ripped. Okay. So I'm figuring out how to do this.
Sure.
Gonna have to have a panel, and then okay. I'm gonna walk downstairs and try to find, or walk over and try to find somebody and be like, somebody's gonna help me put these back. Hey.
All right, where do you go looking? I mean, you know where everybody's rooms are.
Did you make any noise?
No, just I've been trying to figure them out, and I'm just gonna go to whoever is the first person closest to me. Is that Aribell?
Well,
I don't even know
were
where we're sleeping.
Were you in one of the two guest rooms on the third floor, or were you in the one guest room on the second floor?
Probably not the one.
Okay. So you walk out of your room and you hear a ah! And you look, and there's Gyrta standing there with an armload of towels that are now on the floor, just kind of looking at you like,
Yes, I know. I'll try to figure out how to get them put back in.
they're beautiful.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, have you always been able to do that?
Nope. I don't even know how to really move them yet.
And as you say that, they
Who
both go, woof.
What does that mean?
I moved them. Did it do it again?
Let's see, probably just make a straight intelligence check.
Of course. Why would it be? Why would I know what the heck is going on? Straight intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
9 and 2, 11.
You concentrate for a second and think about trying to move them, and you basically try to make them flap, and what you get is a...
No, great. Great. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to whose room is closest.
Well, I'm thinking probably Aribell would be on the second floor because she's the one who gets up the earliest. So she would have done that so she wouldn't disturb anybody else. So it's either Gwen or Tasha who are on the floor that you're on.
Well, Gwen's
Now-
in the main chambers, right?
Gwen and Tasha make a perception check.
Let's see, perception. That is a 24.
At 26.
Both of you heard Gyrta, like, yelp out in the hall.
I go
get up.
running out because I figure it must be serious for her to yelp like that.
Okay. And it's right about the time that you manage to make your wings twitch that both Tasha and Gwen come bolting out of their rooms.
Sword in hand.
And you see Zorith standing there in her pajamas, basically, with these two massive golden wings sort of curled around her shoulders.
Ooh, it happens.
Wow. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
And Aribell, make a perception check. That's all right. I forgot him last week. Sometimes you just don't think about the dice
They're like
until you
sitting
need them.
right on the counter next to me. I just didn't. pull
Right.
them.
Yeah, well, mine were just sitting back a ways, but I hadn't actually pulled them out where I could use them, so.
Really busy praying. 16.
You roll
You-
low.
Stop for a second. You're pretty sure you hear familiar voices. Doesn't sound like they're nearby. Maybe they're upstairs still?
I'm not sure I can get these back in.
I'm not sure that's how that works.
Well, I can't just walk with them out like this the whole time.
That's
Did
what
you-
cloaks are for.
Did you try wiggling?
I move my body, just like not the right way, like just
Okay.
wiggle my body.
She basically just shakes her shoulders and the wings rustle around them as she does that. I mean, it
That's
looks
cool.
like perfectly natural. Like that's how they should move if she moves her shoulders.
Arabelle!
I sent
Make another perception check.
Arabelle!
Mike's answering. Dirty 20.
Okay, you hear Zorith yelling for you.
Then I get up and quickly come downstairs.
Well, you
I-
go actually upstairs. You get up the top of the stairs, and as you crest the stairs, the first thing you see are these sort of golden points. And as you come up, they dissolve into wings, and then Zorith and everybody else, including Gyrta, kind of standing there going, wow.
How tall are they?
They top off about 8-9 inches above your head.
So about 6 feet.
Yeah.
Damn.
They look
And they go all the way to the ground?
gory.
Almost. They go down to basically mid-calf.
Hold on.
Have you tried? Well, I get up there. Zori,
And I'm holding my shirt in the front and like trying to look behind me, like to see.
are you okay? You yelled for me.
I did. I figured you should probably come look at them while everybody else looks at them and try to figure out how to get them down.
Didn't she say you should be able to dismiss them?
I think she just doesn't know how.
Maybe take a deep breath, close your eyes, and
imagine
think about
them-
them being gone.
Yeah.
Make another intelligence check.
Gone.
Or away. Maybe is a better.
Oh, I got a 2 + 2 is 4. Oh, why?
You
Freaking
crack an
out.
eye and look, and they're still there.
Okay. I'm going to.
Gyrta says, "You mean she's supposed to be able to put them away and bring them out whenever she wants?
Yes.
Yes.
Where do they go?
They're magic.
Oh, well, maybe try, kind of thinking about, like, sucking in your stomach, but on your back."
I'm
I
gonna
will try that.
come over to Zori before she does that and take her hands in mine. Just try and give her some calm, some guidance as she does this.
Okay. So she gets, what, an
Okay.
additional D4?
Yes.
Okay, so make another intelligence check. And add a D4.
Oh, well, that's much better.
Hold on to her hands.
So I have an 11 + 2, which is 13, + 4 is 17.
You close your eyes and concentrate, and you think about what Gyrta said about the idea of sort of like, you know, pulling in your back and your shoulder blades, and you feel this kind of really weird slithering feeling on your back, but all of you see the wings just sort of fold back and vanish.
You did it.
I squeeze her hands and let them go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gyrta.
Do it
Oh,
again.
It worked!
It did.
Yay! Now, can you bring them back? Because they're very pretty.
She's so cute.
So I try to bring them out again
Okay.
and just.
This time, go ahead and make an intelligence check, but add your proficiency bonus.
Well, 18 plus intelligence is 2, plus proficiency is 5, so 25.
You close your eyes and just sort of think about spreading your shoulder blades and kind of pushing back, and you hear them go,
Oh, nice.
and you feel that weight again. As of now, you can do this whenever you want.
Nice.
But wow, how are we gonna make your clothing work?
It's just gonna be slits in the back, and when they come out, the slits will just fall like a, yeah.
Mother Tassa was going to reach out to see if we could get the patterns for you.
Right. So I will just have to be really careful.
Gonna need those patterns. Toot sweet.
Right.
Well, you... yes, Tasha, because you have that feat, you would remember that Mother Tassa said it was Gago who created the patterns in the first place. And you have the ability to contact Gago.
Yes, we do.
Let's get out the thing so we can. Is it globe or something?
Yes.
It's a dragon. It's a dragon orb.
Oh,
Yeah.
dragon orb.
Hold on one second.
Fits in your hand.
That's what she said.
Yeah. When you're holding that, your sending spells will actually get through the protections that she's set up on her lair.
Okay, so I get that out, and I send to Gago. Zori has wings now. Can you send us the clothing pattern, Tasha?
There's a pause. Our soulkin now has her wings. I will bring them shortly.
Excellent. She's coming. She's coming with the pattern.
Does she know where we are?
She always knows where we are. Don't be ridiculous.
Does she? I don't think that's true, but
I don't either. That's
Apparently,
why I asked.
she thinks she can figure it out.
Wow.
We're no longer hidden, so maybe she can just.
If she needs directions, she can always send me a message.
This is
Right.
true.
Well, you go about your, whatever you do for the next 10 minutes or so, at which point Tosk comes up the stairs and says, pardon me, ma'am, there is a woman at the door. She says she is expected.
She
She
is.
says her
Yes.
name is Gagolintooth.
Yes. She is
Shall
the...
Shall I show her in?
Indeed.
And where shall I put her?
Let's put her in our best, on the first floor, our best sitting room.
Very well. And he turns around and heads back down the stairs.
Now, she is the sentinel of the sands, is that correct?
yes.
I think so.
It sounds right
I
to
think
me.
it's just Serpent of the Sands, but let me double check.
Okay.
Sentinel of the Sand sounds really good, though.
I think it's Sentinel, right?
I thought it was, but
Maybe.
Yes, hold on.
I just have to get to the right page here. Yes, Sentinel of the Sands, you are correct.
yay, I remembered.
The Sentinels of the Sand, she's brass.
Yes. And so I immediately hustle down to the formal sitting room on the first floor.
And you see Gago is currently just sort of walking slowly around the room looking at the decorations. And as you come in, she turns. Well,
Well-
as lairs go, this is unconventional, but quite nice.
Thank you. It's very new to me. And this is Tosk. You've met him just now. Tosk,
Yeah.
we are honored to have the Sentinel of the Sands in our presence.
I do not recognize that as a title, but from your telling, I would assume that it is a noble one and will respond appropriately.
It is. She is the brass dragon from my neck of the woods near Thunder's Edge.
Ah. Well, it is an honor. Well, he's very polite.
Super.
Yes, he's very good at his job.
And she just kind of looks at him, raises an eyebrow, and then looks back at you.
Well, please make yourself comfortable.
I will have Will I have grabbed a different shirt? I will not have grabbed a different shirt. I just come down holding my tatters around me.
Well, basically the wings ripped 2 holes in the back of your pajama.
Right.
So everything else is intact.
They're still pajamas.
Yeah, they just got it. Basically, it's
Still
just
my
like somebody.
jam-jams.
It's just like somebody took 2 claws and went in the back,
Right.
because that's kind of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can see, she has her wings.
And I whip them out.
She walks over and kisses you on both cheeks, and steps back and says, "Soulkin, welcome. Welcome to the air, where all of us belong."
Oh, thank you.
And patterns, Mother Tasha had spoken to me, and so I actually had them nearby. And she reaches into a bag and pulls out a leather-bound tome of parchment, and walks over to the table, sits it down, and flips it open, and you can see there's probably 40 pages, and every page is a different type of outfit designed for someone with wings.
That's cool.
There's sleeping wear, there's formal wear, there's adventuring clothing, there's intimate clothing. I mean, there's everything. There's like 38 different outfits in this book. The first couple pages detail the best materials to use and the proper stitching around the slits that are formed in these to allow the wings to come out. It appears to know exactly what angle they emerge at.
Wow.
This was once quite common, and so we worked with our other dragon kin so that they would be able to make full use of the blessings that they received. I'm happy that we have this to be able to give to you.
I will take very good care of this book, and I will not let it out of my sight.
Good, because I think it's the only one left.
That's my understanding, as if... Yeah.
Perhaps if you have someone that you trust, you might hire a copyist and make a second version. As more dragonkin emerge over the years, this will become more in demand than it is at the moment. So there should be other copies again.
Should make a copy and put it in our hoard.
Right.
Yes. This, by the way, definitely counts as part of the hoard, in case you were wondering.
The book?
All of this, and she just kind of gestures around her.
The estate.
Yay!
As
So I've added to the hoard.
As I
Yes, you
mentioned,
did.
as I mentioned to Gwenlaryn, this is not a typical dragon lair, but I think for you it will definitely suffice.
Indeed.
And I assume all of the belongings are yours?
They came with the estate, so
then
I
they
think.
are yours.
Oh, okay.
Then
Wonderful.
That may be counted as part of your hoard. I would
Excellent.
say you have done quite well expanding it.
Oh, yay.
I'm so glad.
All I got was another title.
The portable
Well,
hole
that's
comes.
important.
The portable hole comes in quite handy, mind you. We're very grateful for
does.
that.
Super duper.
We've been putting
Very-
bodies in there lately.
Oh, do tell.
Well, they were horrible, horrible people, and we needed a way to store their bodies until we could get to a place where we could dispose of them with less attention.
We killed my sire and my grandsire. It was awesome.
They had it
And
coming.
This was the Strafsoman's endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, that would be quite appropriate. You have cleansed your bloodline.
Yes. That's a
And-
good way to think of it.
And now my great aunt Lena is in charge, and she seems to be doing better.
It would be difficult to do worse from what I have heard.
True.
That is very true.
And we're gonna go visit her soon.
Are these delicate? Do I need to do something with them occasionally? Do I need to rub something on? Like, how?
Moisturizer.
They will tell you if they need attention. You will feel them like you do your arms and legs, and if they itch, tend to them. They are probably a bit more resilient than the rest of your body,
Okay.
being draconic in nature. But they can be damaged, they can be broken, and
Okay.
if so, they will need to be healed the same way you would heal a leg.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have you taken to the air yet?
Oh no, I
And
literally.
she gets this really sort of wild, excited look on her face.
No, I have not. I literally. They just appeared less than an hour ago, and I really don't know anything about them.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that recent. Well,
First day
The
with her
fact-
new wings.
the fact that you have already mastered appearing and disapparating them is quite astonishing.
Ooh, disapparating. I like that word.
We will be in Thunder's Edge in a few days. Maybe if you're in Zorith, it would be helpful. Maybe we could meet you out in the desert and you could give her some lessons away from eyes.
I would be happy to do that. I suspect on the day of the festival we will be a bit busy. I have to do something I'm not going to be terribly comfortable with, but it's necessary.
Is it killing someone?
Be nice with Lord Tremaine.
No, even worse than that. I wish it was killing something. That I'm good at. No, Tasa Pranatiel has dictated that those of us appearing at the festivals must invite those at the festival to approach and to touch.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh.
Yes.
that's terrible.
No, I don't like that.
Well, I understand. She said specifically to invite the children.
Oh,
That's okay.
That's a little less
Yeah.
creepy.
And
Well,
it,
I'll be there. We'll be there. We should be there for you. Because it will be,
Here.
yeah, we'll be there.
it's not that I mind. I just,
Grubby hands.
well,
Ugh.
no, not even that. Our bodies are quite resilient. Nothing that is carried by the touch of a normal human or elf or dwarf or gnome or halfling is going to discomfort us. It's simply that, well, I don't like crowds.
Mm,
I can understand that. Is there anything we could do that would make it more bearable? Like maybe we could keep some distance around you?
We won't be there.
Well, we'll be
Wow.
there later, won't we?
We'll be there after the festival.
Hmm.
We're going to be in Aermagh. She's going to be in Thunder's Edge.
Yeah.
funny fact that Jeff told us about, they are 2 hours behind us.
Right.
So we will get out of ours.
But isn't it like an all-day thing, though?
Well, there is stuff going on all day, but there's like the official part of the festival, which is the speeches and the performances, and then the appearances of the dragons. And
But we can make sure that we have friends that will be there and who are helping coordinate the events. So maybe we can talk to Aloric and Wiggy and Wiggy's girlfriend, whose name always escapes me with a J, and
Jerry Ann.
To make sure they're with you until we get there.
Yes.
Well, I would appreciate that. It's an odd thing. I faced down a half-dozen chromatics in the air by myself and didn't have a second thought, but the thought of being surrounded by other bodies makes me nervous.
I understand that. Sometimes you're just more used to being alone.
Indeed. That's
okay.
why my lair is out in the desert.
It's okay, but we've got you. We'll do our best to help keep you
Sometimes
from feeling.
it helps if I just think about how it's only for a little while.
I'll try to concentrate on that. But afterwards, absolutely, Zorith, if you are still having issues with gaining the air, I would be happy to help you.
Thank you. That would be really helpful.
Well, I would get this book to a tailor you trust
Yes.
quickly, so that they may begin immediately. At the very least, you should have something to sleep in, some everyday wear, and one formal piece of attire. The rest you can piece in at a calmer pace.
Right.
But you should at least have the basics.
Yes. That would be smart.
And one of the things that you can do, if you have someone in your employ who is capable at sewing, you can have things that you already own altered.
I'm going to. Yes. Thank you.
And though you didn't really realize it when everybody went downstairs, Gyrta figured that meant her too. And so she's just been kind of standing in the back, and she goes, "I'd be happy to do that."
Thank you, Gyrta.
And she just kind of slowly walks up, kind of keeping a little distance around Gago, but she gets up so she can sort of see the book, and then she's like, "Oh, yeah, I think I could do that.
Wonderful.
Sulash has taught me basic sewing, and that just looks mostly like hemming."
Yes. Splitting and hemming. Yep.
Yes, that is exactly what it is. And she just kind of starts when Gago speaks, because she realizes that Gago's come to look over her shoulder.
Yeah.
She's just like, I could get started on that today, if you'd like, if you've got a couple things that I could work with.
Do we have we have some stuff that could be picked up from the shops, and I tell her where the shop is that we had the stuff made. And it sounds like at least this outfit, and I tell her whatever outfit it is going to need to be adjusted.
Okay.
Most quickly.
And she says, "Oh, that's that's what Sulash is working on. I wouldn't assume. I think probably he should do the alterations on the things that he's making. I was more talking about things that you might already have.
Maybe
Right.
If you could work on them together?
I could. I've already volunteered to go help him with some of your attire that he's working on, miss.
Yes. I think we could put some of those things to the side for now in order to make sure that Zori has some of the essentials. That's going to be the more pressing issue.
Very well. If you would just write a note, I'll be happy to take it to Sulash, and then I will be happy to work with him on whatever you wish.
Very good. And so I write the note and put it in her hand and say, now you know we are trusting you with a very important document. You must guard this with your life.
Of course.
And it's
And
also
she folds it up and
I would like you to take one of the guards with you so that you get there safely and without risk of losing this precious item.
The book, right? You're taking
Yeah.
the book to Sulash. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
right.
and it's
I'll ask Vok. She's fierce.
She is.
and
good
we're
choice.
counting on your discretion because Zori is very, very rare now.
Of course, I collect secrets for Lady Dunshadow. I don't give away her secrets.
Thank
Very
you.
well.
Thanks, Gyrta.
We know we can depend on you.
And she curtsies, closes the book, picks it up. It looks really big in her arms, and walks out with it.
Very well.
I'm going to follow her out, and I'm going to say, I'm going to grab a couple things for you to work on. And I'm just going to, thanks, Skago. And I'm just going to follow Gyrta out, and we're going to go to my room, and I'm going to grab a couple things that
Okay.
she can at least alter the tops for.
All right.
And while you're here, Gago, is there anything that you would like to have? I am lucky enough here to have a wonderful chef that is part of this household, and I'm sure that she would be able to produce something for you that would be delicious and to your liking.
I do appreciate that, but I just had a purple worm yesterday.
Very good.
I'm quite sated for some time.
Oh my gosh. Very good. Anything to drink or to take with you on your journey back home?
Not necessary, but again, thank you. I should go and continue to prepare for the festival.
Good luck to you, and we will see you tomorrow or after the festival.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
still
few
it's
days
still
away.
a
a
few
couple
days
of days
off.
away, yeah.
Yep. So she nods her head to all of you and takes her leave. All right. Now the next night, as you're sleeping, Gwenlaryn, you have a dream.
Oh.
You are once again sitting on the top of your house, kind of looking down into the street. It's probably sunset-ish or sunrise-ish. You're not entirely sure. It's that sort of gloaming, but you don't see the sun anywhere. And you hear a voice say, "Oh, this is very nice."
Zakuthos!
Yes.
Welcome! I'm so glad to see you.
Yes, well, I thought it was time that we had a little chat.
I would love to have a chat with you. Much has happened.
Yes, I know. And I have to say that I'm a little surprised that you reacted to young Athgar's departure as you did. I thought it was a splendid trick.
his leaving was a splendid trick?
If you think about it, he tricked you into finally admitting how you feel about him.
Well,
Like
I don't
you
know
actually, You actually said the words. You wrote them down, even.
I did, although I didn't have to. He didn't trick me. I just decided to share this information with him.
Well, you may look at it how you choose, but I see it as a rather splendid trick.
Well, I can understand why you would see it that way.
I'm not entirely sure the young man intended it that way because, well, he's not one of mine, so I can't really see what he's thinking.
Yeah.
But as I interpreted it, once I got over the shock, I thought, ooh, well done.
Well, I'm glad it's brought you some enjoyment, because I have to say this has been probably one of the most miserable things that's ever happened to me. So at least one of us is getting a chuckle out of it.
Well, perhaps that's one thing we could talk about. And feel free to talk to me anytime you wish. I can't always answer. I'm not always allowed to answer, but I always hear you.
Okay. So you mean like I could talk to you about things I think would be really funny if they happened to Athgarr right now? Like
Of
itching
course.
powder in his underwear,
A
or
classic?
right? Or just making that letter appear in his bag wherever he is so that he's tortured with guilt, because he will be, because he's a dumbass.
Yes, I don't much like guilt. Guilt's not very funny.
Well, it's funny when it
Everybody
happens to other people.
No, because they just moan and wail and get all gloomy, and that's not fun at all.
That's true. Although I would think it was pretty funny. But I can understand why you might not, because you probably don't have the same animosity toward Athgarr that I do right now.
Yes, and that's something I would like to see you work on. I think you should try to find the humor in this.
The humor?
Yes, there's
In
humor in
being
everything.
Treated as disposable in his life?
I do love how the human mind works. You reach some of the most incredibly illogical conclusions based on scant evidence. It's what makes you so fascinating.
He left with barely a word, and he's made sure that I have no way to contact him. That does not sound like a person who wants me around.
You're assuming that this is all about you. And it's not.
Well, he got in a fight with me and left, so it did seem like those things went together.
That was the first step. But there were other steps that did not involve you at all. And all of those steps combined to lead him down a different path.
I know that he chose a path that I'm not on. And that's
again,
hurtful.
And again, assuming
Assuming he had a choice?
You are assuming that this was entirely his choice.
Did someone choose for him?
I'm skirting a fine line here between what I can say and what I'm going to get in trouble for. Let us just say that what happened between you and him was only part of why he decided it was time to strike off on his own.
Can I know who else had a part in that decision?
Not from me. Sorry, Mother will be very upset if I say anything.
Okay, but other gods have interfered already by giving Father Dilbus some stupid message about my future.
Really?
Right? Yes.
Mother gave that little fellow Wow.
That's the whole reason that we're in this mess. If I could have just continued ignoring feelings, then we wouldn't even be in this mess right now. But she had to go and expose that to me, and now I'm stuck with them. See?
Oh my goodness.
So
I
she
didn't
can't
think Mother-
accuse
I didn't think Mother had it in her.
she can't accuse you
Well
of
done,
interfering
Mother.
when she's interfering.
Well, she responded to a request, I'm assuming.
He did.
Ah. Well, he sort of is her number one guy.
Oh, he'd be pleased to hear that.
Well, he's in charge of her entire group of worshippers in Aecathan. He's kind of the guy.
She could have said no.
Yes, but if you say no to your number one for long enough, they tend to get a little disillusioned. I've seen it happen.
Do you have a number one?
I do. You've met them.
Oh, I wondered.
You met Sir Prank. Briefly,
Interesting.
but you did meet.
That's
Yes.
true.
That creature has the most amazingly devilish mind. I've never encountered one quite like it.
So here's a question that I have for you.
Yes.
If you were in my situation and you wanted to let Athgarr know, but in a way that is most entertaining, would you have a suggestion for how to do that?
Something that explodes. But not in a dangerous way, but in a surprising and quite embarrassing way.
I like the way you're thinking.
Pudding, perhaps.
Explosive pudding?
I'm sure such things are possible. Your alchemists can do everything else.
You want me to send him explosive pudding? I don't even know where he is. He made sure of that.
Ah. Well, then perhaps what you should be doing is making your plans and collecting your items and just hold on to them and know that at some point I am sure you will be given the opportunity to use them. And so just think about all of the joy and merriment that will occur when you are able to use these things.
That is a happy thought.
Yes.
Revenge often is.
And something that can help motivate you away from this sulking.
Sulking? Do you not recognize a broken heart when you see one? He was the only family I had until I met the Four.
And now you have more. And
It's just hard
occasionally,
to begin again.
occasionally, family members do need to go off and do things. I know you don't have much experience, but it's not unusual for a father to have to travel for business, or a mother to have to travel to deal with extended family, and they're gone for a little while and then they come back. That's actually perfectly normal with most families.
In this situation, I was always the one that left for
Oh.
business, I guess.
Well,
And
apparently now it's his turn.
I guess I didn't think of it that way. But I don't know if he's going to come back or when.
That makes two of us. But I would assume that he will. Did Mother tell that Dilbus fellow anything for Athgarr as well.
I don't know. I'm not sure. He wasn't really sharing a lot with me at that time.
Well, I think it's time to live dangerously.
Oh?
If you don't hear from me for a while, I'm doing penance. But I'm going to attempt to pull a trick on Mother.
Really? I am intrigued.
I'm going to see if I can trick her into telling me what she told that Dilbus fellow to tell Athgarr.
Oh, that's wicked. I love it.
I don't anticipate that I'm going to be successful, but I'm certainly going to give it a try.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't think so. Unless you can figure out how to trick this information out of Mother.
I would have no idea how to get her to spill the tea, so to speak.
Well,
I could pray to her. I mean, I'm not one of hers, but I could try.
well, certainly, but I don't know what you would say in such a prayer that would not give away the fact that I'm going to attempt this.
That's a good point.
I guess just keep thinking positive and humorous thoughts my direction. I can use all the extra energy I can get for this.
Okay. So I'm now running through every dirty limerick I know in my head.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Well, it's about time for you to wake up and go get started with your dancing lessons. I'll be watching. That's going to be amusing.
I'm glad I'm amusing you.
But just know that I'm always here. Unless I'm doing penance, and then I'm going to be away for a little bit, but I'll come back.
But you'll come back because that's what family does. Not to presume that you're my family, but we're friends.
In a sort of very general way, I suppose you could say that.
Thanks. And I will continue to leave joke gifts for you wherever I go.
Ah, excellent. And if you happen across any distinctively innovative and mischievous minds, perhaps point them in my direction.
Always.
All right. Wake up now! And you wake up.
That was bizarre. I keep thinking about limericks.
Okay. All right. So, we move ahead a little bit. Zorith goes off to the tower to train with Master Obrus in the new Noctomancy spells that he's been able to translate out of the old books from the pre-shattering temple that you found. And
Do I bring back some of the books for the other, not the books, but do I bring back some of the magic's papers for them to read in case they want to?
No, they would have to, well, for Aribell and Gwen, just telling them about what you've learned, telling them about all the spells that Obrus was able to decipher, will let them know that there are some that they can start requesting from their particular deities. And he will be sharing this information with the Sanctum, at which point the various bards will begin working on their own versions of some of these spells.
Okay.
So that will take a little bit more time because they have to translate them into appropriate musical notation that will actually work for them.
Okay.
But that will be started shortly.
Okay. So I will go and do my 2 days worth of things with him.
Okay. Aribell, you look ahead and realize that you've got a couple days where Gwen is occupied and Zorith's off at the tower. It's probably a good time to head to Strafsoman's.
We need Zori to go.
Yeah, remember I said before I left I would go take them to.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yeah,
right.
she's gone. We can't
So
go.
then you would do that and then probably
Head on over to
teleportation circle back to the tower
Yes.
and start your training.
Yes, that's what I was planning on doing.
All right.
So I think I'm taking both of them, right?
Yes.
Tasha and Aribell.
Tasha and Aribell, I take them to I'm gonna go right to the place by the wall by the secret spot just because that's where I know there's
Oh, okay.
the secret spot on the outside of the wall. Just they can go find their way in or whatever, but
Okay.
that's just where I know to go.
All right. So she gathers the two of you up and casts the spell, and there's that sensation of sort of an implosion of energy and an explosion of energy, and you find yourself standing out in the snow next to the wall of Strafsoman's keep.
We should probably go to the door and not sneak in.
I think
No.
we should go to the
I wasn't meaning for us to
no, I
sneak
know.
in.
I just was telling. Aribell said that to Tasha.
No,
Oh.
I agree.
I
So
wasn't implying you said that. That's just where we are.
Yeah.
we go to the front door and we knock.
Okay. You see that
Love you. And I go on my way.
you make your way around the keep, and you come to the portcullis that leads into the courtyard, and you see that the portcullis is up, and there are two guards standing there. And both of them are kind of already at attention, and they sort of watch you walk around the building and approach, and one of them says, "Halt. Stay to business."
My name is Captain
Yes.
Tasha Greenvale, and I'm here to see my Aunt Lena.
And you see both of them kind of go, "Oh, Lady Tasha, of course.
Major.
Captain.
Here,
Captain.
we've been instructed to refer to you as Lady. If you wish us to
Alright.
address you otherwise, please ask Lady Leena to so inform us, but we're just following orders."
All right then. Anyway, is she home?
Her ladyship is here, yes. You go on in.
Thank you. This is Lady Aribell. She's with me.
A pleasure.
All right, so is she in the sitting room or?
Hold on a moment. Let me find my thing here.
Tasha, if it's all right, I'd like to share Lord Bonthane's request about me with her myself.
Of course. It's your new job. I will let you do your new job.
Where are we? Oh, right. I gotta get to the right chapter. I'm just looking for a name because I don't have it in my head. All right. You walk into the courtyard, and as you approach the main door, you see it open, and you see a very, very tall, imposing-looking half-orc.
Hello. Is Aunt Leena here?
Follow me.
As you wish.
He turns and takes you down the hall, up the stairs, and into a library that you haven't been in before. And you see there are several tables in the room, a couple of which have been pushed together, and you see your aunt sitting on a bench. And she keeps, as you walk in, you see her sort of slide to the center of the other table and start looking through a stack of parchment.
Good day, Aunt Leena.
Tasha, what a nice surprise.
I've brought Aribell with me as well.
A pleasure to see you again as well, my dear.
You too, Lady Leena.
So to what do I owe this unexpected pleasure? And she leans back a little bit. She looks actually happy to have a distraction from the paperwork.
As anyone would be, because paperwork. Well, we just thought we would check in on you, and Aribell has official business.
Oh, I see.
And
Well.
pull out the proclamation from Lord Bonthane and approach her and hand it to her.
A moment before you do that. Tasha, since you are here and since I infer that this is going to take a little bit of time, I would like to ask you for a favor.
Absolutely.
Your brother and sisters are downstairs with Yila. I would like for them to get to know you.
All right. I will go deal with that. I'll be back. I go.
You have your instrument with you?
Always.
That's going to be the quickest way to convince them to become your friends. They have heard precious little music in their life.
All right.
All right. After Tasha leaves, she turns to Aribell and reaches out and takes the proclamation that you hand her. Now, what remind me?
This is, I think, his letter naming her the ambassador.
Okay. And she says, "Give me a moment," and she sort of unrolls it and begins reading. You see her face change expressions a couple times as she's reading it. Nothing dire, just sort of, oh, that's interesting, and oh, I see. And so she gets done and kind of rolls it back up and hands it to you and says, "Well, that was quicker than I expected, but I'm very pleased. You are a friend of Tasha's. You are always welcome here. But now you have even more reason to be here."
I'm glad that Lord Bonthane quickly gave legitimacy to your claim.
Yes, I do appreciate that. It's going to make things easier. I will make certain that knowledge is spread quickly. That should help quell some of the mumbling, I suppose you could call it, although some of the mumbling involves bladed weapons, and that hasn't been pleasant.
We also took your requests to the sanctum. Ball knocker has been returned,
Oh, good.
and the Temple of Tiraura will be sending 2 new graduates very soon to start establishing the temple.
Excellent. My goodness, you work quickly. I wish other things happened as quickly. Before I get to that, I must confess I have never constructed a temple. Could you ask them if they have a particular layout that they would prefer? We have already begun tearing the walls down, and we are compiling a very large supply of lumber, so it does not have to be a small building.
Would I remember any of that from my cleric training?
There are several different styles of compounds that they've built, from, simple, like, 2-room shrines to multi-room cathedrals. It really kind of depends on what kind of presence the church itself feels is appropriate for the location. So
Right.
it is probably something that they would have some opinion on.
I share that with her. I don't think a cathedral is probably the appropriate presence in the dawn, but
Not yet, anyway.
slightly higher.
Perhaps something a little bit more low-key at first. But I'm hoping that once they're here, some of the people who are unfortunately still being taken advantage of will feel they have a place to go. The mandate to make slavery illegal here was met with some resistance, as you would imagine. And on the surface, no one is actively slaving any longer. But the trade is still going on. It's simply gone underground.
I do want to talk to you about something that I heard. As you said, Lord Bonethane moved quickly, but so does information.
Of course, ask whatever you wish.
There's rumors about someone you have in your employ,
Really?
and that it's someone who others might perceive to be evil. And it's not helping
Out with it.
people believe that good is in control in the dawn.
Well,
I'm trying to remember what the creature was called.
You're
Doppleganger.
Oh, a doppelganger?
my information does move quickly. I thought the grapevine here in town was fast. I have not employed a doppelganger. I have employed, however, a master of disguise who is now being referred to as the doppelganger because no one has ever been able to find him before he wishes to be found.
Just to let you know, that's the rumor being circulated.
Well, you may inform whoever you wish that it is not a race. It is a nickname being given by people who do not appreciate this person's particular talents.
I'll let them know. They may have a suggestion. Certainly don't want that to be what people are sharing about the Dawn, though. True or not.
Well, I have not discouraged this rumor here, because if there is one thing that those still plying the slave trade understand, it is evil being used to root out evil. So if they believe it, that actually works in our favor. But I will do what I can to mitigate that.
Unfortunately, it won't make everyone else feel more comfortable.
I understand, but unfortunately I can really only control a little bit of what happens within the confines of this city. I have no control over what others outside of it think.
Is there any one you need Tasha and I to pay a visit to while we're here?
No, we're working through it. That particular agent has finally managed to embed themselves with the underground slavers. It should only be a matter of time before we identify the ringleaders and imprison them.
Should you need help?
I appreciate that, but the only help that we could rightfully ask for would be military. And that, I'm afraid, would not be looked upon with favor, even by the most normal of citizen. One of the things that is giving people hope is that I have made clear in no uncertain terms that we of the Dawn will be responsible for moving the city in the right direction, and I have called upon every citizen here to aid in that process. To bring in outside help would be to admit that we cannot do it ourselves.
I understand that. And that makes sense. But if it becomes necessary, let us know.
I shall. I have high hopes that the operation that is currently ongoing will yield the hoped-for results. And if a few of the ringleaders die in the process, well, their bodies will serve as an appropriate warning just as well as their cages.
If it would be helpful while we're here to bring some people together and share the news that Aermagh has officially recognized the Dawn and introduced me, if it would help, just more legitimacy.
Actually, that is a very good idea.
Can read the proclamation and
Crendal! You see the large half-orc walk around the corner after a moment. And he just stands there and she says, "Send out the word that I will be making an address this evening at the gates of the keep. And I would like all who are able to attend."
All right. What are we announcing this time?
May I? And she holds her hand back out for the proclamation.
hands it back to her.
She takes it and holds it out, and Crendal just kind of raises an eyebrow, but kind of walks over and takes it and reads through it and goes, looks at Aribell, hands it directly back to Aribell.
So,
Good announcement. I'll put the word out.
He turns and walks back the direction he came.
she had told me where she was thinking the temple would go.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It's going to be, if you can see the map,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be right here on number 12.
Okay.
I have chosen for the site of the temple the location that once housed the slave market. That building has already been razed to the ground. And one of the priests of Pharos here in town has already cleansed the space. Of course, your people will want to consecrate it as well, but at least it has been made less stained. But it seemed most appropriate to repurpose a space dedicated to cruelty to a space dedicated to kindness.
I know Tasha wants to spend some time with you. Would it be all right if, while she visits, I take a walk and see the site?
Of course, of course. If you like, I can have one of the guards accompany you and take you directly there.
That would be wonderful. And she, kind of adjusts herself, make sure her holy symbol is out so it's prominent as they're walking. That way, as they're walking, people will see it.
Okay. And so she takes you out into the courtyard and flags down one of the guards. You see it's a young woman, probably mid-20s, human. She's got a scar that runs kind of like from the edge of her jaw hinge all the way down into her armor. But she says to escort you to the former site of the slave house and to make certain that no one accosts you as you travel from there to here, and that afterwards she is to guide you wherever it is that you would wish to go, including back here, and that she is to bring you straight into the keep to wherever she and or Tasha is at your choice.
Thank you, Lady Leena. Enjoy your visit. You've earned a little bit of rest.
Once I get through all this paperwork, perhaps.
It will be there in an hour.
True. So the guard asks you to follow her and proceeds to take you out the gate and through the town. So let's pop to Tasha.
Pop.
So you've gotten to the room that has been sort of repurposed as a nursery. It's also on the second floor, but over on the other wing of the keep. And as you walk in, you hear the sound of children's voices, and you hear the sound of a baby sort of just burbling, as the very young do. And you hear a woman's voice singing softly. And as you walk in, you see Yila sitting on the bed, sort of playing with the baby. And she looks up as you walk in. Or Yeleen, sorry. And she kind of goes, "Oh, I remember you."
I remember you. My name is Tasha.
Oh, you're Lady Leena's niece.
I am.
Oh,
Do you understand how that makes us related?
No.
What's your name?
Yeleen. We met, sort of.
Yes.
She was Zagran's wife,
Yes.
or mistress, or whatever.
So, your children are my siblings.
Oh, yes, I know that. I just don't know how you
Well, that-
and me are related.
I mean, it makes us family, sort of, doesn't it?
If you say so.
Kind of makes you my stepmom in a weird sort of way.
That can't be. You're older than I am.
Odd, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
But maybe we can just say that we're family and leave it at that.
Okay. I don't really know what that means, but okay.
Well, family is what you decide it to be. That's the conclusion that I've come to. And
She looks
since
really confused all of a sudden.
all right, you and I don't have good memories of what family is. Am I right about that?
Well, I mean, my kids, that's a good memory.
Right. Do you remember your parents?
No.
All right. Every memory that I had of Zagran was not pleasant. And the only good memories that I have are of my aunt, Leena. And I thought she was dead for a very long time.
She has been really nice to me.
She is a very good woman.
She's been really nice to the kids, too.
That
Oh,
is good.
yeah. She picks the baby up and sort of turns her around and sits her on her lap and kind of, holds her hands and says, "This is Selga."
Hi, Selga.
She's
How old are you?
She's about 4 months old.
Oh, just a little baby.
Yeah. She's a happy baby.
She
Aren't
is
you?
indeed.
You're a happy baby. And you see that when she takes her focus off you and turns it back to the child in her lap,
Mm-hmm.
all of that hesitancy goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize that she may not be that smart, but she's clearly trying really hard to be a good mom.
Yeah. I've already got that. I don't have a problem with that.
And then you hear a voice go, "Mom? Who's that?" You look, and the young boy has gotten up from the floor where he's been playing with what look to be wooden soldiers.
Mm.
And he's just kind of standing there looking at you. And she says, Zagin and Slessa, pay attention, please. And you see a little girl, a little bit younger than the boy, kind of turn her head and look. She's down on the floor, like playing with charcoal sticks and parchment. This is your sister. Her name is Tasha. Nuh-uh. She's my sister. And the little girl goes, Mama, if she's our sister, how come we've never seen her before?
Because I ran away long before you were born.
How come?
Well, you remember your papa.
Yeah?
He wasn't that great. And he tried.
He is okay sometimes.
Yeah, he tried to make me do things that I didn't want to do, so I ran away.
I thought about doing that too, but he said that he would tan my hide if I did that.
Well, he never caught me, so.
Wow. You must be able to run really fast.
That I can. I can also fight really good, too.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Have you killed people?
Yes, I have.
Zagin.
It's okay.
That's not appropriate. She said it was okay, Mom.
But I also know how to do something that maybe you've never even seen. And I take out my lute and I start playing it.
Okay. The baby just kind of immediately, not really looking, but just orients to the sound and just is kind of like, listening. Zagin tries to look like he's not impressed.
Okay.
But Slessa immediately, just drops the charcoal sticks and gets up on her knees, and she's just, focused, watching your fingers. Go ahead and make a performance roll.
All right. $22.
Okay. Well, it's definitely good enough for the kids, and you see even Yelene kind of starts subconsciously nodding her head along with the beat.
And I start playing a simple children's song. And then I start singing along to it.
All right. The baby just, after you sing for a little bit, starts just going, bop, 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 bop. Zagin is paying attention, although he's trying really hard not to look like he's paying attention. He's at that age. But Slessa...
12.
No, 9.
Oh, okay.
But Slessa, when you start singing, that's the first time her eyes move, and she moves from your fingers to your face and just sort of is watching and listening very intently. And you sing the children's song, as a typical children's song, many verses, but the refrain is constant after each verse. And after about the 4th time, you hear this very soft, reedy soprano begin to sing, to try to sing the chorus along with you. She's actually pretty good. Her performance check, she rolled a 19.
That's awesome.
And for, her age, she's got like a +2.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's actually, by the time you finish the song, every time you get to the verse, she's just singing along, and every time she hits a chorus, she grins a little bit more. And when you finish, she immediately just... And even Yeleen, just seeing that, just kind of, around the baby softly, applauds as well. And Zagine just kind of looks and goes, "Not bad."
Well, thank you.
Do you know any songs about battles?
I do. And I play one.
Okay. What story do you tell?
The Tale of the Shattering.
Oh. Now you have his full attention as well. Like, he literally just gets so wrapped up in the story you're telling that he just kind of slides down the wall till he's sitting and just riveted. You finish that song, and both of them clap, and he says, "That was incredible. That was awesome."
Have you heard about the good dragons?
That's a good question. Let's see if this has gotten to them. It has not.
Well,
He's like, "There aren't any good dragons."
oh, really? I'll have you know I rode one.
Make a persuasion check.
$27.
You see Zagine's kind of like, and Slessa's like, "You did?"
On his back. I held on to the ridges. It was a little scary, but we made it. Mm-hmm. That's how we got here, actually. Not today.
Yeah, you saw Slessa start to go,
Not today. But let me tell you the story of the good dragons, and then I play that song.
"Okay, make a performance check." Remember, this one you make an advantage.
Oh, okay. $27.
You finish that one, and the kids both clap, and Yeleen just kind of tilts her head and looks at you and says, "Is that true?"
It is true. I was there.
"So there are good dragons?"
Oh, yes. And in just a few days, there are festivals all over the country that are going to celebrate the good dragons. And good dragons might actually appear in different towns.
Slessa looks at her mom. "Can we go see one?"
You know, I don't think your little sister's quite ready, but I would be willing to come back and get the two of you and take you to and take you to Aermagh so that you can see. If your mom's okay.
At this point, Yeleen's just kind of like, "Wait, what?"
Well,
And
it's up to you.
It's at this point
Mhm.
that your aunt walks in. And Slessa jumps to her feet, runs over, throws her arms around Leena and says, Tasha's going to take us to see dragons.
If your mother was okay with it.
And Leena kind of looks over at Yelene, and Yelene's kind of looking at her like, And Leena says, we can talk about this. You should know that we would not be here in the keep, safe and happy, were it not for Tasha and her companions. I would say that makes her fairly well trustworthy. And Yelene's clearly looking hesitant. Okay, but I mean, we just met, and now
That's
I'm
okay.
supposed to let her take Sagine and Slessa off by herself?
You don't have to. It's okay. I got excited.
And both of them look at their mom and go, but Mom, it's dragons!
Well, what if all 4 of you went? Or, I'm sorry, all 5 of you came?
Well, I don't think it would be advisable for me to leave. There's too much going on, and I don't want to take the chance of more happening should I not be here to react, but the 4 of you could certainly go. Yelene says, you think it would be okay to take Zelda? I mean, it's cold out. We would find suitable things to bundle her up. I'm sure it would be fine. If you would like to go, you've never been out of the city, have you? I don't think so. I mean, if I was, it was probably a long time ago, and I don't really remember.
Well, how old is she?
19.
And she has a 9-year-old?
Here's the deal, just an FYI, I may not be able to pick them all up and take them all, because I have to take us all extra places. But hold on, let me if I go and I pick them up.
Well, you could
And I
probably
bring
do
them
it
back?
if you teleported to the
Just
dawn, and
to
then
the dawn.
teleportation circle back.
But they'll have to stay overnight because she can't
Yeah.
Yeah,
teleport more than once in the day.
yeah, okay.
So,
I can do it. I can do it. I just wanted you to know that they would have to stay the night at Gwen's, and
Yep.
Gwen, of course, would be perfect hosting them, which she said. But I'm just saying. I just wanted to make sure that you knew. Sorry.
So, a few things you should know. First, my friend Zori is a sorcerer. Okay, is a sorcerer. And she can teleport us. So you won't have to travel over land. And it'll be very quick.
Does it hurt?
It doesn't. But it's much faster. And you would have to stay overnight. But my friend Gwen has a very big house, much like this one. And there's plenty of room for you to stay.
And will that's all right?
Yes. Gwen loves to have people over. She's very excited about her house.
Can I think about it?
You totally can. I would not want to force you to do anything. These are your children. And you deserve to be protective of them.
Zagin says, "Oh, it's okay, Mom. I'll keep you safe." She just kind of reaches over and smooths his hair and says, "Hopefully that won't be necessary, but I appreciate it." Well, if you do decide to go, you needn't worry about spending money. I'll see that you have more than enough. And it sounds like you will have a safe and comfortable place to stay. And it would be, I think, good for the children to see Aermagh. That's the capital of Aecathan. It's the biggest city in all the land.
And I know the person who runs it.
You mean it's even bigger than our town?
Oh, much bigger.
Much bigger. He doesn't look like he believes you.
That's okay. You don't have to. But I know the man who runs it. His name is Lord Bonethane.
That's a funny name.
It is, but we won't tell him. He's very proud of it. And let's see. The estate that my friend Gwen is the lady of, the Viscountess La. I know it's a weird word.
You see Slessa sort of sounding it out.
She has her own cook and her own guards and her own butler. What is task?
Major Domo.
And her own major domo. And they will keep you safe. But more importantly, I will keep you safe. And I'm pretty good at it.
We'll think about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about this some more tonight. I'm sure that by then you'll have questions and I'll have answers. And if you would like to go, I will make certain that we notify Tasha and she'll make the rest of the arrangements.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to hear another song?
Yeah! Sure.
So I play a dancing song.
Okay. All right. Flip back to Aribell. You are led through the city. You see that not a lot has changed yet. The only thing that's different is there isn't quite the overwhelming sense of oppressive dread. The people you pass don't all look like they've lost all hope. You actually see a couple people who notice your holy symbol, and actually, after they, kind of get wide-eyed, they kind of nod their heads at you as you walk past, and you do notice that after you pass, there seems to be a lot of conversations that spring up.
And I greet people and, wish them Tiraura's blessings and, all of that stuff. I look people in the eye, I smile, there's no like looking down on them or anything. Very conscious.
The guard tells you her name is Amarla, and she's lived here her entire life, and she was one of the earlier people that Leena recruited, and so she's been working on the reclamation of Strafsomans for many months. And she is known to several people. Like, she gets greeted by name by a few people, some shopkeepers too. It seems like she's known, and at least she's not, people aren't scared of her. She takes you to the site of the old slave market, and you can see at this point there is a cobblestone path that leads to a charred area on the ground, and that's it. But you also see a couple people are working on pulling up the last of the stones that made up the flooring of the market, and pulling out the last of the posts that supported the walls. Everything's charred, but it looks like they are making fast work of erasing that particular structure from the town.
Well, I'll walk over and greet them and thank them for all the hard work and
pull their hats off and try to be respectful. And
are any people watching?
You talk to them for a little bit, and you turn around, and there's a crowd. And you can see that there are people in the crowd who are hurt. There are people in the crowd who clearly are ill. Word went out fairly quickly that there was a Tirauran in town, and so they've kind of all assembled, hoping.
Oh. Start having them come up to me.
Okay.
Go to them if they're, if they're ill. I'll start working my way through the crowd.
Okay. Some of them are they were clearly wounded in the uprising, and the wounds are slow to heal. They probably don't have the diet necessary for the healing to happen as quickly as it should. Some of their wounds have gotten infected.
First aid kits all around. You get a first aid kit, and you get a first aid kit.
I mean, normal people have very few hit points, right?
Right.
Okay. So, because I can cast Aura of Vitality, which lets me basically heal 10 people over, a minute.
Right.
And I can do that 3 times. So that lets me 3 people, and it's 2d6 plus 5. So a minimum, there'd be 30 people that get 7 hit points back at a minimum.
That will heal all of the wounds.
Okay. And then, so I would start, doing that. And I don't even have to touch somebody. I can just, it'll just be like an aura. And I would say a prayer out loud and call down, for all of that and tell people, to close their eyes and, ask Tiraura for healing and, make it all about her. And so within I would pray for, that whole 3 minutes. And during that, by the time that ends, the 30 people would all be healed that I pick.
Okay. There are some people that are diseased.
Okay.
That are going to need a little bit more than hit points.
Okay. So I think
you can use
5 of my lay on hands cures disease, so I can do that 13 times.
Okay. Well, it takes a little while. It probably takes an hour or so to work your way through until you pretty much have exhausted what healing you have, but you have about close to 45 people that are walking away healthy that didn't show up healthy.
Are there more ill?
Yeah.
Okay. I tell them that I'm guessing because Zori's staying at the tower for a few days, right? So I'm guessing we're going to stay overnight.
You certainly can.
Before she would come, because I'm guessing she'd come get us and then we'd go back. Because she teleported us here today. She can't come back today.
Right.
So.
Right. And she's going to be 2 days at the tower, so.
Right. So I tell everyone else that I can only do so much in a day. And I would use my healer's kits, but I don't have much left. But
okay.
If anybody's, I'm sure everybody who's in dire need, I got to. That I will be back here after breakfast in the morning, and that they should come back and see me.
Okay. A couple people stick around after the crowd disperses and mention that one of them mentions that her mother has fallen deaf and is curious if there's anything that can be done. Another guy talks about the fact that his father has lost his eyesight, wondering if that can be cured. It's clear none of these people have any experience with the Tiroran faith.
So,
other than sort of knowing what it is.
So lesser restoration affects a condition, but is blinded as a condition versus, or will that work?
Let's look.
Because the conditions that lesser restoration works on are blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned, but I don't know if that's just like a spell, or so it will.
Yeah, it will heal those.
Okay, then I may actually still have maybe that ability left to do.
Okay.
Can you take me to them?
They say, oh yeah. And so...
And actually I can do that from the staff.
Okay. And the woman takes you to her mother. The guy kind of accompanies you. And you see this kind-looking older woman who looks up, sees you, and then sees the holy symbol and gets this incredible look of hope on her face. She clearly recognizes it.
So this is the deaf woman, so she can see it.
Yep. And she says in a too loud voice, "Gods be praised. I haven't seen a Tiroran since I was a girl."
I take her hands in mine. Oh, one of them, because I've got the staff. I'm holding that with me. That I'm kind of walking with it. And I take her other hand and I place it on the holy symbol. And I pray to Tiraura that if it's her will, that this woman's hearing be restored. And I'll expend the 2 charges from the staff to cast lesser restoration.
Okay. And the effect is immediate. You see her reach up and grab her ears and slowly pull her hands away and look at you like, what just happened?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Aribell gets tears in her eyes and she embraces the woman.
And the woman's crying too. I mean, and so's the daughter.
So's Nikki.
So's Nikki. I mean, let's just, it's fine. It's fine. Let's just keep going.
And, they both thank you repeatedly.
It is all the lady.
And the older woman says, clearly, the power came from the goddess, but if you had not come to bring it, thank you so very much.
She always knows where I'm needed and sends me.
I'll be able to hear my grandbabies.
We're actually going to be building a temple to Tiraura. I hope that you'll come and thank her once it's here.
I will. Will they need volunteers?
I'm sure that they will put a notice out for whatever help, but
I will be the first in line.
She gives her another hug and let's see. I'm so glad I could help.
Thank you.
Now, I had children of my own, so there might be times you're wanting it to be a little quieter.
Maybe I'll get there again, but right now I want nothing more than to just spend my days and nights hearing my grandchildren.
Go to them now.
And the woman who brought you just walks over and takes your hands and kisses them and says, I don't know how to repay you.
No repayment is needed. Just Tiraura's going to bless this city.
She already has.
Just tell people that. Give them hope.
I suspect they're going to hear all about it, whether I say anything or not. My mother's not going to stop telling people about this, ever.
I look to the other person with the blind mother and
The father.
father. Shall we?
Please. And he leads you to a storefront. He apparently makes candles. And as he's leading you there, he explains that, he's been making candles. He pretty much took over the business when his father's eyesight failed. But he learned how to do this from his father, and he's never been able to quite match his father's level of expertise. So he's hoping that this will work so that he can once again work with his father and perfect his skills and once again experience the joy of being able to watch his father work.
Have a livelihood as the town comes back to life.
We always need candles. And if your temple needs candles, if you can bring my father's eyesight back, your temple will have all the candles it ever needs. my promise to all the gods on that. So he takes you in and takes you through the shop and into a complex in the back. Clearly, this is where they live. It's it's not big, but it's comfortable. It's clean. And as you walk in, you hear a voice from the back go,
Jordan, who's that with you?
My name is Aribell.
Oh, finally found yourself a lady, huh? About time. Not getting any younger.
Oh my god.
I can't see them, but I can still hear them, and I can still hold them, so grandchildren, now.
Well, I'm actually a paladin of Tiraura, and your son has brought me to see if I might be able to help you feel better.
Grandchildren would make me feel better.
Well, let's see if we can make it that you'd be able to see them if you were to be blessed with them.
You're kidding, right?
No, sir. If it's all right, I'd like to try and see if I can heal your sight.
You know, we haven't got a lot of money.
There's no cost, sir.
Bullshit. Everything costs.
You can tell this is somebody who's lived a long time in Strafsoman's and has a certain expectation about how things are done.
I was raised that those who can help others should, with no expectation of payment. I know that's very different than anyone has ever heard in this town, but...
Father, she's not from here.
Yeah, I got that.
I'm actually from Aermagh, and then I studied at the Sanctum.
What, out on that island?
Yes.
Huh. I remember that island. Went there once.
You did? You never told me that.
Wasn't any reason to. Wasn't a big trip, wasn't an important trip. Just was crewing and ended up running some people out there once. And
I spent a number of years there, first training as a cleric to heal others, and then later as a paladin. I'd really like to try and help you and your son.
Please, Da. I saw her. She gave Mrs. Darlington back her hearing.
really?
Yeah, I saw it. I was there. She can hear just as good as you and me now.
Tiraura has blessed me with many gifts.
All right. Give it a shot.
Walk over. I'm going to take your hand.
He nods.
Squeeze it. It won't hurt.
Soft hands for a warrior.
And I begin to pray, and I will expend another 2 charges from the staff and ask Tiraura to restore his sight.
You see sort of the milky film that has grown over his eyes. You see it just sort of slowly dissolve.
I look around, a little too late to make sure it's not too bright in here.
And he blinks, looks right at you and says,
Sure you wouldn't consider grandkids?
I give him a hug.
She'd make some pretty grandkids.
Da. What? Wait! You could see her?
Yeah. How would I know she was? How would I know she was pretty if I couldn't see her?
So horrible.
I don't believe it. I mean, I believe it, but...
Close your mouth. You look like a fish.
Sorry.
That Tiraura brought me to town on this night, and that your son happened by while I was at the site of the new temple. Tiraura wanted me to do this.
New temple.
Yes. Lady Leena has requested, and the Temple of Tiraura has granted her request that we construct a temple to Tiraura on the site of the former slave house. The place that was once evil will now be a beacon of hope for everyone in the dawn.
Kind of looks at his son, and his son goes, "Yeah, that's what she said she was gonna do."
Huh. Maybe things are gonna change here.
We're probably going to need candles.
Yeah. I said that I would help. Yeah, you're gonna have to. We're gonna have to make a lot of candles.
But he kind of stands up and walks over and claps his son on the shoulder and says,
You've done a good job so far. I think with the two of us working, yeah, I think we're gonna do okay.
and you see the guy just start to tear up. And then he turns and walks over to you and just kisses you soundly on the lips.
Your son might have some competition, sir. I get.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
You
So
do
polite.
you do a great service. People shouldn't be afraid of the dark here anymore. You fix that. It's important what you do.
Wow. Pretty and kind. Well, thank you.
My honor.
Pretty kind and can bullshit with the rest of them. Nice.
That's the truth.
Well,
I know you have lots of work to do, but I hope that the two of you celebrate tonight first.
gonna go out and look at the stars. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm sorry, Nikki's face just got me. I think that sounds like the best thing.
And you tell your temple folk when they get here, whatever they need, no charge.
I'm sure they will pay you fairly.
No, I won't accept. We're gonna make enough money from selling candles to the rest of town. Your temple gets them for free for as long as I'm alive. As long as I'm alive, too.
Thank you. It's very generous.
Least we can do. Because I'll be able to walk in and see them in use. I'm not gonna forget that.
I will be here the day the temple opens for sure. I look forward to seeing you both.
We'll look for you. And think about those grandkids.
I will think about it. Thank you. Okay. Squeezes both their hands and turns to her escort. I suppose we should probably head back.
She just nods and wipes the tears from her eyes.
Aribell does the same.
And she leads you back to the keep, where you are informed that both Leena and Tasha are with Yeleen and the kids. So she takes you to their room. So right around the time you start playing the dancing tune, Aribell walks in.
Oh, this is my good friend Aribell. Aribell, this is Yeleen, and this is
The baby is Zelga.
Zelga.
The boy is Zagine. And the girl's name is Slessa.
I kneel down so I'm at kid height. Oh, it's very nice to meet all of you.
Aribell is a paladin of Tiraura.
What's a paladin?
A paladin is a holy warrior. Means she kicks butt.
And you see the boy perk up. You kill people?
I
Only if they're
stop
bad.
people. I don't
That's
like.
good. That's good too. Can I see your sword?
Sure, but you can't touch it because it's very, very sharp.
Cool.
She pulls it out, a long sword, and lays it down.
And both of them are just kind of like, ooh. And Slessa looks at the sword, looks at Aribell, and then looks back at Tasha and says, "Do you have a sword too?"
Of course.
Can I see it?
See? This is my sword. You also cannot touch it.
Okay. They're both really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both look really sharp.
Really?
Are very sharp.
Cool.
Mine is a scimitar, and it actually makes me faster if I need to be.
Mine can actually freeze things. It makes ice.
Oh. Can we see that?
I should be able to ice it up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. I hold it and activate it. You know how that works.
And this mist forms around the blade. It sort of stretching from hilt to point. A field of ice surrounds it, and Zagine's eyes are as big as saucers, just like.
Is there a fire in the room?
Yeah.
It's easy to relight those, right? Like a fire.
Mhm.
You want to see something really cool?
Yeah.
I climb back to my feet and I walk within like 30 feet to the fireplace.
Yeah, you're within 30 feet of it when you
Okay.
stand up. So.
Okay, I hold the sword towards it and the fire goes out.
You see the same sort of mist that surrounded the blade to create the ice just sort of goes whoosh, and the fire goes, and then there's just a few cinders and smoke. And you see Yeleen has kind of leaned back with the baby like this, and both kids are leaning forward like, that is the coolest thing ever.
I go over and relight it so that we don't get cold because it's cold. But
Yeah.
pretty neat, huh? We found
Tasha,
it.
is she gonna be in the big city too?
She is. She is going to be in the big city.
Mom, I want to go.
I invited them to Dragon Day.
Oh, well, that would be lovely. She looks at the mom.
And Yeleen's just kind of like,
I'm sure that's very
well, talk
Scary.
about it.
for you to think about.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I grew up in Aermagh, and I can assure you that it would be safe for you and your children.
we'll talk about it. Don't. We will. I will talk with her about it and find out what she's afraid of, and we'll talk about that too.
And if you have any questions after you've thought about it, it's a lot to take in, I'm sure. You can let us know. Like I said, I grew up there. I'm happy to tell you anything you want to know about Aermagh.
All right. Well, the rest of the evening is spent. The kids, fight very, very hard not to get tired and get sleepy, but they do. And Yelene puts Zelga down, and you end up, the four of you, having dinner, and then spending the night, and then Zorith arrives late the next day after you go back out and do some more healing. Word has definitely gotten around. It seems like the old woman and the elder candlemaker have told everyone they can find. So
I will make sure to do that, and I'm guessing the announcement went fine. And
Yep. I think probably the word of your healing has done more than the announcement did, but for those who are in attendance who know about the healing, you basically are able to hear people starting to say, "Oh yeah, that's the woman who healed so and so," or "That's the woman that gave such and such his eyesight back," or my mother still had that horrible infection and it's gone now. And so the fact that you have done these things definitely heightened the impact of Lady Leena explaining to them that you are the emissary from Lord Bonethane in Aermagh, and you are here to help her bring the city to its new dawn. So, yeah. It goes quite well. And then Zorith reappears the evening of the second day and whisks you all back to Aermagh. All right, a couple other brief things. During the evenings this week, Gwen has been working on reading the Tome of Understanding, and by the end of the week has completed the tome, which becomes blank when she finishes reading it, but she has gained noticeably in wisdom from reading the book. And as has been discovered, the book will remain blank for 100 years. But after 100 years, the words will reappear, and the book can be used again. So that's a book that gets added to the library to just sort of hold on to. And in the evenings the rest of the week, Zorith takes time to spend with Aribell, continuing to work with her on teaching her how to speak Draconic.
Yep.
So you have probably like junior high school level understanding of Draconic at this point. You can do, most of the basic words. You can do simple phrases. Anything that's sort of an advanced concept isn't going to translate quite yet, but you've got the basics at this point. And as the Dragon Festival approaches, Gwen spends some time with all of her staff members, discussing how things are going to operate in her absence when she departs for business with the Four. Everyone seems to accept it. Kaylin actually appears to accept it as a challenge. That she's going to need to prepare food that can be packed and sent and be ready to come up with meals on very short notice. You get the sense, Gwen, that so far she's kind of impressed with you. So there seems to be a better than decent chance that she's going to stick around.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going to also try to invest in some of the pricier spices for her that she may not have access to. If I can hook up Aribell with some saffron, then I can do the same for her.
Okay. And that brings us to the day of the festival.
Woo!
And we will start in all of that fun after the break.
Brilliant.
So stick around. We've been headed for this day for so long, real time.
We can't wait.
It's exciting to finally be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So stick around. We'll be back in 15 and we'll do the festival. So don't go anywhere. And welcome back. It is the day of the Dragon Festival. Finally.
Yay!
The day dawns cloudy, cold, snow flurries.
Of course.
Lord Bonethane has had a stage erected across the river on the western edge of Dockward, right about here on the map. And festivities are going to kick off about midday, so about lunchtime. There are going to be vendors with various things, some clothing, lots of food. There will be musicians playing, starting at that time as well. But the big events don't happen until around dinner time. But you know from sort of investigating what is going on, there are several different sort of dragon-themed drinks and food being sold, including what the vendors are calling dragon cakes. It's actually sweet bread shaped as dragon heads. There are dragon wings. Easiest way to describe it, think thick waffle cone, but shaped like a dragon's wing, but then covered in powdered sugar.
Yum.
Elephant ears.
But the big thing is that the local alchemists have teamed up with the local druids and have created a simple potion that they call Dragon's Tongue. And it's served in very interesting shot glasses. It's basically wax-lined parchment, but you basically just drink it like a shot, and then once consumed, it allows the imbiber to burp once and shoot out a little gout of flame.
Wow.
What could go wrong?
How cool. And you said who did that? The druids and the alchemists?
Yes. The alchemists created the potion. The druids created the containers because they have bred a new variety of flower that they are calling the Dragon's Bouquet. That each one of these cups, if tossed into the grass, the parchment is basically has been made with seeds for this particular flowering bush.
Oh, that's cool.
And when the flowers bloom, it basically grows a deep green plant with pointed, sort of spiky leaves on which bloom fiery red, orange, and yellow petaled flowers.
Ooh.
Wow.
I love it.
And this way, this area of the city will always be known for being the location that the dragons first graced Aermagh.
Nice.
Because for years to come, these plants will grow.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what goes on during the afternoon. I don't know how much or how little of it you want to bring Yelene and the kids for. If you want to just bring them for the big stuff at the end, or you want them, to experience it a little bit during the afternoon, that's entirely up to you, Tasha.
Maybe a little bit of both, Tasha.
A little bit of both.
come out, have a snack, take them back, so it's not.
I had the house decked out with all kinds of kid stuff, toys, and I had some extra cots brought up for the kids so that they can stay in the same room with their mom, but have decorated the walls with drawings of dragons and just all the things a kid would want.
Nice. Yeah. Slessa's the one who's a little tentative at first, but she quickly comes around the first time she sees somebody burp flame.
Let's think of that.
She thinks that's the coolest thing ever, and keeps begging her mom to let her try it. And
I grab a flask and fill it. I buy several shots and dump them into the flask.
Okay.
Because I think Sakuthos and I could have some fun with this. I'm just saying.
Okay. You do witness a couple of the less well-behaved children sneaking up behind some adults, belching and sort of like burning their butts. And you see the guards chasing them down and taking them back to their parents. And
I was going to say,
love this.
Sakuthos, are you seeing this? This is right up your alley. And right up there, something else.
Yeah. Yeah. Zagine also thinks it's pretty cool, but he's a little, too cool for school, kind of trying not to be impressed by this immense city that is, clearly intimidating him a little bit. So the day goes on. It gets a little warmer, not a lot. By the way, Yelene and all three kids really, really like Gwen's courtyard. Because it's warm, and there's lots of color, and there's grass to roll around in and romp in, and trees to climb. And so,
I even let them borrow some of the, trying to think of what you'd call it, like chairs and things to put outside so that they can just stay out there and make a picnic of it.
Nice. Yeah, they really like that. They're just both fascinated with, how can it be summer in here and winter out there? That's just so weird but cool.
It's magic.
Yep.
I put some hammocks up for them to play in.
So it gets to be around sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowds have begun to gather. And you see the Lord's Seneschal take the stage, wait until the musicians finish their current piece. There's, some nice applause. And he motions to someone standing down below where he is standing, who's clearly dressed in Aecathan military garb, and you see that person make a quick gesture with their hands, and suddenly his voice is much louder. And he officially welcomes everyone to the first annual Aermagh Dragon Festival, and there's nice applause, and he basically tells everyone what's going to happen. There's going to be some storytelling from our resident sage, Appleby Sheppen, who's going to bring everybody up to speed on the discovery of the dragons and what's how it happened and what's known so far, and then Lord Bonethane will speak. It is hoped that they will be able to impose on Captain Greenvale to perform the Lost Guardians of Aecathan, and then there will be a very special surprise.
We're wearing all of our dragon garb that we had made, correct?
Yep.
With the special pins or brooches or...
Yes. Now, my big question is Zorith there with wings out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. That's not appropriate. No. No.
Okay.
Not yet. It's not a thing. No.
Okay.
Zorith would not. This is not that day.
Okay. So, Ranmore introduces Appleby, who climbs to the stage and begins to speak, and is a little flustered at first to discover that his voice is quite loud. But he kind of settles in, and in his own inimitable fashion begins to explain about the discovery of ancient tomes in an ancient temple. He doesn't say where, but he mentions that these tomes were found, and as they began to be translated, one of them was actually a book of children's stories, and he recounts the tale from the book of the metallic dragons, and then begins to explain, as he gets a little bit more into, his sage persona, that before the shattering, the metallic dragons were actually actively part of the nation of Aecathan. They worked with all the goodly races in all sorts of different areas, but primarily in education and magical research, and also in defending the nation as a whole. This is greeted with lots of speculative glances and sounds, but people are just kind of like, okay. When he finishes, there's polite applause. And then Ranmore takes back to the stage and introduces Lord Bonethane. He steps up, welcomes everyone officially to the Dragon Festival, and begins to explain what the future of Aermagh now looks like. He reveals to the crowd that he has met with both with the leader of all of the dragons, and he explains that they are broken down into what they call septs, and there is a sept for each shade of metallic dragon. And he says, I'm sure you already know the 5 shades, and there's a little bit of a chuckle. He says that there is also a dragon who is the leader of her particular sept, who lives relatively close to Aermagh and is primarily responsible for helping keep the city safe, and that she is the leader of the group that has been blocking the evil dragons from raining down destruction on the city for the last few weeks. There's lots of applause for that. He also explains that he has assured both the leader of the dragons and the dragon that oversees this area of the country that he has committed to assisting them however they should need it, and that they are working towards forging an official alliance between the metallic dragon septs and the nation of Aermagh as a whole. He does admit that he expects that at least for the first few years, the benefits will more be on our part as we receive knowledge and assistance from the dragons, but he hopes that we will rise to the challenge and find a way to provide them eventually an equal amount of information and assistance to make this a fair and equitable partnership on both sides. At this point, Ranmore takes to the stage again and looks out to where you all are standing and basically requests that Tasha come to the stage and perform the Lost Guardians of Aecathan.
I do so.
Okay. At this point, shouts come up from the crowd. Tell us the whole story. Tell us how you found them. Tell us how you brought the dragons back.
So I spin them a tale.
All right. For this, I will need you to make a performance check.
Okay. $27.
It is a masterful telling. Athgarr would be proud. Clearly, you hit just the right note. There are appropriate gasps and oohs and applause, and you basically play that audience like a well-tuned instrument. And when you are finished telling the story, this amazing round of applause goes up. But at the same time, there's a loud boom from somewhere up in the clouds.
I look up.
You see, for a moment, nothing, and then a flash of yellow light. And then a flash of red light and another boom. And a flash of green light, and then white and red and yellow and red and green. And it basically, the sky lights up. And the audience is just looking up and they're kind of like, ooh, they're reacting to it like fireworks.
Uh-huh. What is it?
You don't know. You stand there watching for a good minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seems to subside. And then you hear a voice in your head say, please ask them to move back. About 100 feet would be safe.
If you would all move back about 100 feet, We may have visitors.
And then you hear another voice, or you hear that voice in your head again say, "And you may wish to turn your head."
Which way?
That's what the message says.
And you may wish to turn your head.
The four of you make a perception check.
$30.
26.
14.
All right. Aribell and Tasha happen to be looking in just the right place in the sky. You see a section of the clouds quickly become darker, but it's darker in a particular shape, and then a red dragon appears in the sky, but it's not flying, it's falling. And it lands on the ground with a massive thump, and the snow billows everywhere.
Oh. Wow.
And
Right?
settling gently out of the sky after it is a massive bronze dragon that you recognize as Rimmidi.
Hmm.
And the crowd is like, first they're screaming, and then they're, kind of like, wait, that isn't moving, and oh. And the dragon slowly settles down to land on the body of the red dragon.
Ooh.
Folds its wings and says in a loud tone, "Citizens of Aermagh, I am Rimmidi, the serpent of the sea. The chromatic dragons thought they were going to interrupt our festival. Once again, they are wrong."
Wow.
That's how you make an entrance.
Yeah, we lead them in clapping.
Mm-hmm.
Those who thought to interrupt this lovely festival have been either turned away or destroyed. And she looks down at the red. My family and I have taken to protecting the shores along the ocean, including your shores. We are no longer going to allow these misguided chromatics to harass this wonderful community. In fact, I am pleased to announce that, along with the assistance of the Aermaghian army, we have begun to take the fight to the chromatics.
Ooh.
As it turns out, they have built a fleet of very, very large sailing vessels that are, and she kind of looks out to this ocean, far off the coast. That is where they have been launching their attacks from. As of today, I can tell you that 2 of the largest ships are no longer available to them. They are now decorating the floor of the ocean. At this point, she kind of cranes her neck back and looks at Lord Bonethane for a moment. Noble Lord, you have my pledge and the pledge of my family and my sept that we will work with you to protect your shores and your people from the chromatics. Even now, several of our numbers have been assigned by myself and the leaders of the other septs to bolster defenses both in Dark Coast Keep and in Fort Grimspine, in anticipation of whatever the Metallics might try next. At this point, she very carefully climbs down off the body of the red dragon, off to one side, and 4 other bronze dragons come out of the clouds.
Ooh.
And they each settle on part of the red dragon and lift it together into the air and take it up and disappear into the clouds.
Wow.
And she moves back to where the dragon was and settles down once more. And she gestures out with a claw and says, "Perhaps you know, Lady Aribell, Lady Gwenlaryn, Master Sorcerer Zorith, and Captain Greenvale." And there's applause. And she says, "I can confirm that the story and the song that Tasha performed for you is exactly how it all happened. So for those of you who thought, Bard tends to exaggerate when they perform, there is no exaggeration. Were it not for their efforts and the efforts of their companions, we would not be here with you today. It is my pleasure to affirm publicly that they are what we call dragonkin. And what that means is, while they are not draconic in nature, we acknowledge that they are draconic in spirit and in honor. And we consider them to be the 6th sept, having earned a place amongst the metallic dragons as equals.
What?
This is news to them as well.
Indeed.
But we thought this the appropriate time to make this knowledge public to you and to them. So in the future, when you encounter them, it would please me, my family, my sept, and my kin for them to be treated with respect as you would for one of us. Were it not for them, we would still be trapped. So on behalf of all of us, Aribell, Tasha, Zorith, Gwenlaryn, thank you. Thank you for our freedom and for our lives, and for being able to get back to them after a very, very long nap. And there's lots of applause again. And then she says, and now I would speak to the children. This has been a frightening time to grow up. Dragons and orcs and all manners of things to be scared of. And you are right to be afraid of them. But now, you can live the rest of your lives knowing that there are some dragons who would be your friends. And I know you have a lot of questions. Children always do. Sometimes your parents and other adults will answer them, but sometimes they will not, or maybe they cannot because they don't know. Today, I'm going to offer to answer some of your questions. So, if you would like to come up, I would be happy to talk with you, and I would be happy to let you experience a little bit of the wonder of being a dragon. And she takes a talon and just kind of taps a scale, and you hear like this metallic tink, tink, tink. They're very smooth and very cool to the touch. And if you would like to find out, you're welcome to come up. And she just kind of settles down on her haunches and kind of puts her head on her paws. And you see the kids are all kind of like, you go. Were you afraid? I'm not afraid. Then go. I'm not gonna go. You go. Okay. And one of the older kids, probably 14, 15, hesitantly approaches and walks right up to her head and looks like he says something, and she just and then leans down and puts her head right in front of his face, and he's just kind of like, and she says something, and he's kind of like, and at this point, a couple other kids walk up, and a couple more, and then a couple more, and as the children start to move forward, you see the younger ones start to move up as well. And you're standing with Zagin and Slessa, and Yelene says, "It's okay, I guess, if you want to go. I mean, it seems nice." And Zagin's just, like, huddled right up next to his mom. He's like... And then Slessa just looks up at her mom and starts to walk toward the dragon. And she gets up there, and you see her just kind of raise her hand up, and you see Rimmidi lower her head down to the ground, and Slessa just kind of touches the scale and is just kind of like, and then just starts petting the scale. And that pretty much ends the official festival. She stays there as long as the kids want to stay there. But at one point, you, Zorith, you hear in your mind, "If you'd like to talk or have questions, feel free to come up as well."
I tell everybody that in case.
And Yelene just kind of like, like, what?
Why don't you come with me?
No, that's okay. I'm fine here. And you see that Zagin does not look like he wants to get close to the dragon, so she's gonna stay with him.
Okay.
I pull out of my bag one of our little toy dragons and hand it to them.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And he kind of takes it, and he's just kind of looking at it like, you know, he's having trouble taking all this in.
Processing.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Maybe start with this one.
Okay. But eventually the parents kind of hesitantly approach to, like, drag their kids away. Like, you know, okay, you've had enough fun petting the dragon. There's a phrase I never thought I'd say. And now it's time to go home.
It's time for bed.
Right. You see that Bonethane has come down, and Appleby has come down. But Appleby doesn't seem to be talking. He's got a sketchbook and a charcoal pencil, and he's walking around the dragon sketching.
Right. Well, we're gonna have to... I mean, how long has it been? An hour? Hour and a half? Closer to 2?
The whole thing probably took a good couple hours.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it's kind of wrapping up, I'm gonna walk over to Rimmidi and say, Gago doesn't want to be alone necessarily for this part. Do you mind if we take our leave?
Oh, no, of course not. Yes, she's not going to like that very much.
Thank you, Rimmidi.
I mean,
There's not words.
no.
You did so well. I mean, you did a fine job.
Well, the chromatics did help. That was not altogether unexpected, but it worked out quite well, I thought.
We saw the
Indeed.
lights.
Yes.
Yes, they thought they were going to swoop in and have their way. They thought they were going to cause mass destruction, and they never got below cloud level.
Thankfully.
My group is very proficient at turning them back at this point.
We're very grateful.
We're very grateful.
And the fact that I was able to land on the body of that red is just the most delicious insult.
You certainly know how to make an entrance.
It all worked out just very well.
All right, well,
You will, of course, want to decide on a shade for your sept. It should be some form of metal, but we will leave that to you. You needn't decide now.
Steel is what I was thinking.
okay.
Well, give it some thought.
We will. We should get the kids and Yulene back to the estate.
And you see that Slessa is still standing there doing
Yeah,
this.
I'd go collect Slessa.
And she's just like,
There will be other days.
and Rimmidi turns her head and looks at her and says, "Thank you for your tenderness, young one."
This is Tasha's sister.
Yes,
Really?
her name is Slessa.
You must be very proud of your sister. I guess so. I only met her like a couple of days ago. Oh. Well, then you have a lovely future ahead of you. She writes very good music. Oh, I know. She played songs for us. She's really good. I know. Well, good night, Slessa, sister of Tasha. Sleep well and know that you are safe. And Slessa just kind of goes,
I give her one of the little dragon toys too.
Mm-hmm.
"Really?"
Mm-hmm. So you'll always remember. Well, not that you're ever going to forget, but a souvenir.
Can I call it Rimmidi?
I think that's great.
Okay. And you as you approached, you heard Lord Bonethane congratulating her on a splendid victory and a quite amazing appearance.
That was one of the best entrances I think I might have ever seen.
Appreciated, Lord Bonethane. It was good, wasn't it?
Aye. Something that they'll be talking about for years to come.
Well, I should return to my sweeps. They may try again. They are very stupid in some ways. The stupidity that comes from a century of arrogance thinking that they had won. I'm pleased to prove that particular theory wrong. You will want to stand back. I would hate to blow snow in your faces, but I'm afraid when we take off, there is a certain amount of wind. And she sits back on her haunches and spreads her wings and sort of crouches and then literally just leaps into the sky, and the wings just begin to whoosh, whoosh. And
We
she
look away and
kind of banks up and just disappears into the clouds.
Jeff, do we see Jojo in the crowd?
At
same
this
crowd?
point, no.
Okay.
You suspect he may have been here, but probably when things started to break up, he went back to the pirate.
Okay.
Makes sense.
are we gonna take him with us to Thunder's Edge so he can see?
Yeah, I can go check and see if they want to go while you get the family settled, and then just meet back at Gwen's with them.
Right.
Okay. All right, so the rest of you head back to Dune Shadow Mansion.
Very
Zagine
quickly to gather our stuff and get ready to go. Thunder's Edge.
still looks like somebody hit him in the face with a shovel. But Slessa is just having a ball. She's just walking along and she has that toy dragon and she's just making it swoop through the air and she's having a ball with it. Aribell, you make your way to the Shouting Pirate, and you can hear, before you even get too close to the door, that it sounds like it's packed.
Oh, okay. I thought he was gonna close. I couldn't remember. So,
Mm-mm. No.
well, when we talked to him about coming, I thought he had said he was gonna close for the festivals.
Yeah. You open the door, and it is standing room only. And you see him and both waitresses just scrambling. He does happen to look at the door just as you step in, and you see him just kind of go. Then he.
I try and make my way through.
Okay. There's lots of sort of acknowledgement as you walk through, and some pats on the back, and people, expressing their thanks and congratulations.
I get to Jojo and try and get heard over the loud.
Well, he finishes serving up the food that he's been cooking, and then just takes a towel and sort of wipes his face and walks over the bar and leans right close to you.
Yeah.
I was
You're saying.
I was planning on closing, but they just kept coming in.
Zorith has to come in the morning to take Tasha's family back to the Dawn.
Wait, Tasha's got a family now?
We'll catch you up, but
All right.
why don't we check in the morning, and perhaps you can come then.
All right. Yeah. That
Might be
sounds-
easier to get away.
Sure. There's not going to be any getting away tonight.
Gives him a
But-
hug.
On the other hand, gonna make a lot of money tonight.
Take the morning off.
That sounds like a plan to me.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right.
I make my way back out. And
Okay.
back to Gwen's.
We walk the kids and their mom back to Gwen's.
Mm-hmm.
Get them settled in.
We just wait for Aribell to come back to see how many are going with us, and
Slessa does seem particularly intrigued with Gyrta. Like, she's my height, but she's an adult. This is neat.
Can I be an adult?
right.
So, but you get them all settled in, and after she puts all three of them down, Eileen comes out, finds you, Tasha, and says, I wasn't really sure about this. Leena said it would be okay, but I wasn't sure, but you were really good with them. And your
Oh, thank
friends
you.
were too. So thank you. I don't think Celeste is ever gonna put that little toy dragon down.
No, I Celeste has a. Celeste is gonna grow up to be a little more like me.
Yeah, she's always been curious, and had kind of an adventurous spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Zagrin used to hate that. I always thought
Yeah.
it was pretty neat.
He hated it about me too. That's okay.
Well, I'm glad she's got you now, because she's going to need to know about things that I don't know about, that I'll never understand.
Well, you know, you're still really young. There's still a lot you can know.
I guess. I'm just, I never really got a lot of teaching.
Well, yeah, of course not. But you
know.
could still get that teaching.
Yeah. Lena's teaching me how to read.
That's wonderful.
It's hard.
It is, but once you learn that, then you can learn other things.
That's what she keeps saying.
That's what she always told me.
Hmm.
She taught me how to read too,
She did?
when I was little.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'll keep trying. I'm not very good at it.
You're not good at it yet. It takes time. Be patient with yourself. All the patience that you have in your kids, have that for you too.
I'll try. It's all so different now. I mean, it's
Yes.
better.
Yes.
It's really better. But it's hard to get used to. I keep expecting him to walk in.
Well, that's not happening. I know for sure. He's never coming back.
Are you really, really sure? I mean,
Yes.
I thought he was dead a couple times and then he came back.
Well, I took care of that. He's not coming back.
I hope not.
He's not. He is not.
Well, thank you for inviting us, and thank Lady Duneshadow, because this is a really nice house, and it's really nice of her to let us stay here.
I will. She loves having kids here, so don't feel bad.
I'll try not to. It's just all so different.
You'll get used to it after a while. It takes time, though. It takes time.
That's what Lena keeps saying. Well, I should probably go get some sleep before the little one wakes up.
Yes. Sleep well. We'll take you back tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And I go find my compatriots.
All right. Well, where are the rest of you?
Waiting by the door so we could go to Thunder's Edge.
Right.
Get there. Let them know that if Jojo comes, it won't be able to be till the morning.
All right.
Okay.
Um, Zorith, you hear a voice in your head.
Yes.
Hey, you all planning on coming out for the festival? If you are, let me know if it's okay if I come and find you, because I have some runes you might want to learn.
Okay, I would. All right. We should be there shortly, actually.
Our circle is done.
And there's a brief few moments of silence, and then you hear, actually, that's what I want to see you about. Where are you at the moment? Let me come to you, and I'll bring you the runes, and then you can just go straight to your circle.
I tell him where we're at.
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't know if you can just, oh, we're at Gwen's place. So he's not probably been here, but.
No. But a few moments later, Tosk walks in. There's a particularly irritated dwarf at the door.
Please do allow him in.
If you insist. And you hear a familiar clomping footstep. And you see Aralahkis walk into the sitting room.
Nice digs. Whose are they?
Lady Dune Shadows.
Lady Dune Shadow.
It's still just Gwen.
Wow.
He was there for that, right? Yeah.
He was.
He
yeah.
was. He's
Just-
just enjoying this a bit much.
Yeah, I'm not getting used to that anytime soon.
Out of curiosity, would you have been there when Lord Tremaine heard about this news?
I don't think he's heard yet.
You didn't tell him?
Let's just say I might have omitted one of the things from the ceremony.
Why would you do that? I was dying to hear how he
I
reacted.
wanted
you
to.
can see
I
it,
wanted to
Gwen.
let you tell him. You deserve
have-
that much.
Thank you.
Anyway, we can talk about that more. Zorith. And he hands you a scroll.
Okay. And I go to read the scroll.
And you see that it is a sketch of a teleportation circle.
Sweet. I very quickly try to memorize it.
Well, it only takes you like a minute to memorize the order of the sigils.
Nice. I like that.
It's all done. I should also warn you that your entire house is surrounded by Sasaran.
We invited them.
Yeah, we
Oh,
know.
well, all right then.
We invited them.
I think they may be going to abscond with your kobold.
Oh, I hope not.
We love Zach.
Yeah, so
He's
do they.
Oh no.
He's our Zach.
Well, they all
We
seem
want
to
Zach to be happy if he wants to go with them.
They've
Sure
all
can.
seem to make friends with him. He's spending more time outside than I've ever seen him.
Well, let's get there so that we can help Gay go through this really hard part.
What hard part? There's a hard part?
We'll let the children touch the dragons in each city.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Get
So-
him used to it.
I think that Gago would appreciate us all being there, though. So
Yeah.
But she doesn't like kids.
She doesn't like people.
she
Oh.
doesn't like being touched by random people, I think.
Right, and don't forget she's also the one that is in the desert the most by herself alone. So
She's
being
not
around
used
a
to
whole bunch of people.
crowds.
Yeah. So
Huh.
are we ready?
Mhm.
You coming with us?
I'm gonna hitch a ride if that's all right.
All right. And I start drawing out our new home circle.
All right. Takes about 10 minutes to get it all sketched out, but you get to the point where you're ready to make the last mark on the last rune.
All right, here we go. And I finish the last rune, and
The bright center cylinder of white light springs up.
we all step through.
All right. This would be the perfect time to send you somewhere else. I just thought about that.
I actually
You-
thought about it too, because I assumed that that's how he got here, but he couldn't have because it wasn't a circle. So
Right,
we don't even know if it works.
right. But it does.
It does.
You appear in a basically a 15 by 15 by 10-foot room that you've not been in before, and you see that there is a door on one wall, and as the sigils fade, their glow dimming, that's where we're going to stop.
Oh, awesome! Oh my gosh,
I knew
That
he
was
was
so
gonna
cool.
do that.
What?
that was awesome.
Yep. So,
Well done.
one Dragon Festival down, another one to come next week.
This
Woohoo!
is foreign party.
Yeah.
A big Cesaran party.
Yep.
Woo-hoo.
That's going to be interesting.
Won't it?
Oh, yeah.
Won't it? It will.
Yep. But we'll find out all about that next time.
Ooh,
So,
so much to talk about.
yep, so much to talk about, so much to do. Thank you for watching. We do appreciate your attention. Remember, stay safe, stay sane. If you want to continue to wear your mask, if anybody gives you lip about it, feel free to pull it off. Their lip, not your mask. And just take care of yourself, your family, your community, and be well, so that we can once again, next week, invite you back to the lands of Aecathan.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everybody.